Welcome to Trend Watch 777. I am excited. I am very, very excited. And I am very, very hopeful for Karmelo Anthony. All right. So you heard that he has a new dream team of lawyers. All right. So let's check out this video. Law. What is this? Who is this? Law and Crime Network. All right. So let's see what's going on here.
Karmelo Anthony is not going quietly into his 35-year prison sentence for murder.
He put his hands on me. I told him not to. He put his hands on me.
Now, a powerhouse defense team is fighting to undo the verdict that branded Karmelo Anthony a killer. What started as a track meet confrontation ended with a fatal stab wound and a murder conviction.
I know how it goes. I'm not alleged.
The case appears closed, but Anthony's new defense team is preparing a challenge that could put the entire verdict back under the microscope. We're on the case presented by Law and Crime. I'm Chris Stewart.
Yeah, hold up. I heard that he can walk free. They can overturn the case because number one, I think the main reason I heard I'm hearing is because the jury selection, the makeup of the jury and who they had on the jury and who they denied to be on the jury. I think it was 3 teachers or something, and that this whole thing was just a complete mess. And I don't know what type of lawyer that he had, but I thought it was pretty strange when he did not take the stand in his own defense. That right there was striking to me. That's just one reason why it was pretty striking, and I thought it was something fishy going on.
Right now, Karmelo Anthony is currently living in a rural Texas medium security prison. It's about 3.5 hours south of Frisco, Texas. That is where Anthony used to live. It is where Anthony stabbed Austin Metcalf in the chest at a track meet, and it was a wound that killed Austin Metcalf. And of course, this all happened, and we've talked about this story a lot, after Karmelo Anthony ended up under the tent of Metcalf's team at this track meet, and he wouldn't leave. The state said that Metcalf then confronted Karmelo Anthony, that he shoved Karmelo Anthony, and Anthony responded with a knife that was in his backpack, striking Austin Metcalf and giving him an injury that the medical examiner says there is no way that Austin Metcalf would have survived. And the jury, it only took them 3 hours to determine Karmelo Anthony's fate, and it was that he was guilty of murder. But now...
Now, when they come back with a quick verdict, it's not usually not very good news.
Karmelo Anthony has a high-profile team of lawyers who are preparing to challenge that verdict. We received an email from the Stand with Karmelo Coalition, and this email announced 6 lawyers will conduct a fresh, independent review of the trial record. It goes on to say, quote, "We recognize the profound loss suffered by one young man's family and the uncertainty facing another, and we extend our respect to everyone whose lives have been forever changed by these events." So this team of lawyers, they will be serving pro bono, according to the email. Now, we're going to go through what makes this team so high profile and potentially high powered in just a moment. But first, I do want to go through some of these new...
And look at the makeup of the lawyers. They're not all black. They're not all white. There's a mixture right here. And I like that. I like that. I like that a lot.
Images that we have in this case.
I know how it goes. I'm not alleged. Okay.
This is body cam video from one of the first officers to confront Karmelo Anthony after he stabbed Austin Metcalf at this track meet. This body cam captures the moment that Anthony made this now infamous statement, quote, "I'm not alleged, I did it." And you heard it clear as day on that body cam. Now, the court has released a large amount of evidence that was shown to jurors during the trial, including body cam footage and surveillance video. Now, because cameras were not allowed inside the courtroom, the public is now only getting to see what the jury saw. Now, here is the only known video of the moment where Anthony stabs Austin Metcalf under the tent. And it's from a camera that was mounted on top of the football stadium where this track meet was going on in April of 2025. Now, the state argued that Karmelo had no reason to be under Austin's team's tent. Now, the defense argued that Karmelo knew someone there and he was welcomed under the tent. But what happens next is Austin Metcalf reportedly tells Karmelo Anthony to leave, and when Anthony didn't, words were exchanged, and Metcalf puts his hands on Karmelo and shoves him. And you can see, it's very blurry, but you can see that shove in the surveillance video. Now, that shove was met with a stabbing from Karmelo Anthony. He pulled a knife out from his backpack and stabbed Anthony in the chest. And again, it was a wound so severe, a stab wound to the heart, that the medical examiner said there is no way Austin Metcalf could have survived. In fact, the medical examiner said if there was an operating table right there with a surgeon, it is not likely that Austin Metcalf would have survived that injury. He died on the track. Karmelo, he ditched the knife and he ran. His defense argued it was because he was afraid for himself. He was just trying to get away from the situation. Now, here is more body cam video of what happened next when officers confronted him on the track.
So nothing on your person at all? No, nothing? No, sir. Mind if I reach in your pockets and stuff and all that? Nothing gonna stab me? No, sir. Okay.
I'm gonna be out with it. Crazy.
I'm gonna get a little personal there, okay? Just to make sure.
My car's right there.
Okay. Yeah. You want me to get up now? Go on. All right. The victim's going to be underneath that tent over there, so I'll get medics.
I think he was analyzing.
Memorial tent over there, guys. All right.
He put his hands on me. I told him not to. He put his hands on me.
What's happening right now? Victim is going to be on the north end. They got staff standing to him right now. This is the latest suspect. All right.
I still, like I said on one of my previous video, I still find it odd that this is the only video, surveillance video that was released or that's on record that we even know about. Like in one of my other videos, we were talking about that these are children and everyone has a cell phone, and you know how we like to record things, and there's no cell phone recording anywhere. At least it hasn't came out as of yet.
Already? No. We searched them. Got nothing.
I don't know what happened.
4.3. Checkers everything with CBR progress for a witness.
Crazy.
You that's the wrong thing.
Crazy.
Side over here or side? Up to you. It's up to you.
That's fine. This is closer.
Okay. Let me do one more little check of you, okay?
Yes, sir.
You don't mind if I reach in your pockets, anything like that? You good?
You can.
Well, you're just wearing this one pair of pants?
No, I'm wearing some little under.
Oh, yeah. But it's not
Like,
pockets, these are your
no,
own
ma'am, I
pockets.
don't think so.
Right. What's your name?
He's being so respectful during his detainment. He said, no, ma'am. He's using he's being respectful. I mean, he's not cursing. He's not fighting back. He's compliant.
Hey, man.
Karmelo Anthony, K-A-R-M-E-L.
4:30, show me out.
Crazy.
Have a seat here real quick, man. Watch your head. Let me check your hood here, buddy, okay?
Yes, sir.
Well, I'll tell you what, lean this way so you're not resting on your hands, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, see a little bit of blood on your hands there, okay?
Yes,
all right.
402, I'm on scene.
So your first name is Karmelo?
Yes, sir.
Crazy.
A-R-M-E-L-O.
Let's see, hold on one second.
Is he gonna be okay?
I don't know yet, man. Karmelo, C-A-R-A.
K-A-R.
K-A-R-M-E-L.
M-E-L.
And doing all this, he still asked if he was going to be okay.
Hello, Karmelo. What's your last name?
Anthony.
A-N-T-H.
O-N-Y.
O-N-Y. What grade are you in?
I'm in 12th grade.
10th grade? You go to Emerson?
No, sir.
Where do you go? Centennial. Okay.
I'm in 12th grade.
12th grade?
Yes, sir.
Okay. No, Centennial. All right, sit tight for me real quick, bud, all right?
TC. Guys, real quick, Karmelo running a business trial lasted 4 days. When it came to the testimony, it took the jurors about 3 hours to find him guilty of murder. Then it was another 3 hours that same day, roughly, for them to determine that his punishment would be 35 years in state prison.
Wow,
it could
all
have
in
been
the same day?
as many as 99 years. Now, the day after his sentence, Karmelo Anthony filed a notice of appeal from prison, and he wrote in that notice of appeal that he doesn't have the money for an attorney. But that doesn't appear to be an issue any longer because he has this pro bono team of lawyers now in his corner. So let's go through this team of lawyers. According to the Stand With Karmelo Coalition, the team is led by Dallas Appellate Attorney Russell Wilson II, who once led the Dallas County District Attorney's Conviction Integrity Unit. And according to the DA's website, one of that unit's jobs is to send out, quote, mass notifications where systemic errors affected or potentially affected the judicial process. You also have Austin-based attorney Gary Bledsoe, who is the president of the Texas NAACP, and he's been in that position since 2001. And he is, quote, admitted to practice before the U.S. Supreme Court and the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals. Next, you have Michael Ware, who's a Fort Worth-based attorney and former prosecutor, and he's the executive director of the Innocence Project of Texas. He was inducted into the Texas Criminal Defense Lawyers Hall of Fame last year. With them, civil rights attorney Brooke Cluse, who is a former Houston public defender, and she is now chief of staff for high-profile civil rights attorney Ben Crump. And another high-profile lawyer on the team is Sean Daredia, who is based in Dallas, and he's had multiple clients acquitted in high-profile murder cases, and he serves as a TV legal analyst. And finally, you have trial lawyer Justin Moore. He's also based in Dallas, and his description reads, quote, he has represented clients in high-profile criminal and civil rights matters, including securing the acquittal of a teenager charged and falsely accused of capital murder. So,
oh my God, this is just what we need. I am just so happy.
It does seem to be a very high-profile team. The question, of course, becomes, what might they actually be able to do to overturn the conviction of Karmelo Anthony, and what happens next? Joining us now to talk more about this from Texas, criminal defense attorney Anthony Asso. Always great to have you on Law and Crime. So if you're a prosecutor on this case, you look at this lineup, how nervous are you that this conviction may actually not stick?
Well, as a prosecutor, hopefully you're not nervous, right? I mean, I think from a prosecutor standpoint, you should be bringing cases to trial that you feel the state has evidence to prove, right? And you've got to trust that your line lawyers, the trial lawyers in that case, did what they were supposed to do, right? Which, in addition to trying to get the verdict they want and the sentence they want, is also making sure the record is clean so that the conviction sticks for decades to come.
And what happens now? I know that Karmelo Anthony filed a notice of appeal, and then we got the update here of who his attorneys are going to be on the appeals process. What do they do next?
Right, so it's just a timeline. You have to file the notice of appeal within a time period, and then from that point, they'll get a scheduling order of when the actual appeal is filed, and that at that point, the court will review it. They'll probably need to get a transcript, a trial record, and the court will have to go through that, and they'll make their decisions regarding the appeals after reviewing the record and both parties' arguments, both the state and the defense's arguments regarding the appeal.
Because post-verdict, we've seen so much debate from people who were just following this case to columnists of all different kinds, legal analysts, about the facts of the case and everything that went down in the trial. And then, now the body cam and surveillance video was released in the last couple of days, so people are looking at that too. But in an appeals process, what will Karmelo Anthony's team actually be looking at to determine whether or not he would get a new trial and whether this conviction could actually be overturned?
So they're going to be looking at the record itself, Chris. This isn't going to be a situation like...
Yeah, I'm sorry, y'all. What is this? What are these? What is this? What's going on with this? Okay. I be paying attention to what people have in their background.
Like much of the public is doing, where they're looking at, well, why didn't the defense argue this, or why didn't they argue that? What they're going to look at is really errors within the record, both constitutional errors and structural errors. So did the judge allow hearsay in against the defense's objection? was there a jury charge instruction that was let in that shouldn't have been let in? I think we'll probably see an objection to the judge's ruling on the Batson challenge. The defense did object. They did make a Batson objection, and the judge overruled that objection. So I'm sure we'll see that as being one of the issues that the court rules on, in addition to a number of other issues, probably a sufficiency of the evidence argument, and then various other pieces of evidence that probably came in that the defense will re-urge their objection on the appeal.
Because there have been people who have looked at the jury selection process. We've heard the term Batson challenge over the last couple of days since this verdict came in. For people who are just kind of following along, may not be lawyers, what exactly is a Batson challenge, and what Karmelo Anthony's team would have to prove for that to be successful?
Sure. So in jury selection, you cannot make you can't strike somebody on the basis of gender or race. You have to have a gender or race neutral reason for striking that person. So in an instance of a trial, if the prosecution strikes a few, we'll use in this case, for example, they strike a few black jurors, then the defense might think, hey, well, the prosecution struck black jurors because they're black. And so they can make a Batson challenge. The burden then shifts to the state to provide the court with race neutral reasons for having struck black jurors. And so in this case, I think the state argued that they struck these jurors because they were educators of young children or kids, and so they felt that they wouldn't be good jurors in this case because they might be more sympathetic to Mr. Anthony. And the court found that that was a sufficient race neutral reason and overruled the defense's objection.
When it comes to some of the work that this team of 6 attorneys and again very accomplished lawyers, it seems, when it comes to the work that they're going to do, because in the notice of appeal, Karmelo Anthony says that he doesn't have any money, which makes sense. He's 18, 19 years.
And let's go back to what he said for a minute. He said those jury selection, those people that was teachers, educators, was rejected because they feared that they would be sympathetic to the case, but yet instead they had people on the jury that was like really old people. They didn't have no one young, so it was just that jury selection really bothers me. It really does. It bothered me from the start.
Years old, and he is now an inmate in Texas State Prison, doesn't have a job.
Because you have to think the era that these people, the jury, the jury selection, the era that they grew up in the 50s and the 60s. So you have to look at that. They didn't have anyone in the jury that, to me, was like up to date. I'm trying to find a word to say, but they just had old fogey stogies, like just have a different, they were had a different upbringing, a different mindset, as opposed to the modern way of thinking and the way people are now. And so I hope I got it out right.
Job, career on the outside of it. He had just graduated high school. Like, how does, assuming that this team, for all the prestige they have, they're doing this pro bono, and if it's like the full force of all their law firms looking into this, like, what does that get you in an appeal process as you go through the record compared to someone, maybe more of someone who doesn't have the national recognition on their case and they're just kind of going through the appeals process, as I'm sure a lot of people who have been convicted of crimes end up doing?
Well, with a team like this, you should expect they're going to lift up every rug, and they're going to look under every rock.
I hope they do.
And, make sure that no stone's unturned.
Yeah, and I hope if they come across any corruption, that it be exposed, and whoever, like in the case that was corrupted, that they be held accountable. Just bring it all to the forefront.
A lot of what they're doing, because it's a serious hurdle in an appeal, right? Because with these constitutional errors, sure, something might be wrong, but not only does the defense have to prove that something went wrong, a piece of evidence was let in, a juror was allowed to testify regarding certain conduct, and instruction got into the jury charge. They also have to prove that there was harm, that error caused harm, and but for that error, we would have or could have had a different verdict. And so it's a really high burden for a defendant on an appeal, but they're also preserving the appellate record for potential appeals down the line, post-conviction appeals like post-conviction writs of habeas corpus and things of that nature.
Who eventually, because obviously it was a jury of his peers, and I know people have debated the racial makeup. It was majority white, wasn't an all-white jury, but a majority white jury that made this decision.
Did the majority white? Why? Okay, yes, of course it was the majority white, but why are they not talking about their ages? Why? I haven't heard too many people mention their ages. Their ages mean a lot. Why did they just select all those juries that was age 50 and above? Why isn't that being addressed?
The judge stands by the decision. Who, as they prepare the appeal process, who eventually, or the group of people, are the ones who would determine whether or not this conviction sticks?
Well, it'll be the appellate court justices. And so they'll look back. First, the appellate lawyers for Mr. Anthony are going to have to make the arguments. They're going to have to raise these issues. The issues that they raise are going to have to be issues that were previously raised in trial for the most part, right? And that's why it's so important, like I talked about earlier with the prosecutors and keeping a clean record, it is crucial that the defense attorneys in this case make the objections when necessary, because they know they've got to preserve this record for appeal so that they can give the appellate lawyers the ammunition they need to make the objections to the appellate court. But ultimately, it will be the justices. They'll be looking at the rulings from the verdict by the jury as well as the rulings by the court and determine whether this conviction sticks. That is a really...
I think they need to check out his defense lawyer too. He didn't do a very good job in defending him, in my opinion, at all.
The judge views the trial court's rulings and the jury's verdict in a very deferential manner. So it's really light most favorable to the evidence that was presented in trial.
Because there's been a lot of criticism for just people who've been following along with this trial of the defense of Karmelo Anthony. You're a criminal defense attorney. I'm not. As you know, it is a really hard job and like kind of Monday morning quarterbacking and in a situation as serious as this, it isn't fair a lot of times. But there is the decision that was made, and whatever went into that decision, it's kind of unclear of why Karmelo Anthony did not testify in his own defense, since he was, really the closest witness to what happened. And if you're alleging that you were afraid
for your... I believe that they only called, I think it was 4 witnesses for the defense, I believe. They hardly didn't even call no one in his defense.
Life, and you needed to do this to protect yourself and all of that. I think jurors would have really liked to see that. First off, let's just talk about that decision in and of itself. What did you make of the decision for Karmelo Anthony not to be on the stand?
Well, I agree with you, Chris. I think any juror is going to want to see that, and I'm sure the defense probably went over that issue during jury selection and weeded out or tried to weed out the jurors that would hold that against the defendant if he didn't testify. But people slip through the cracks. And so I think in this day and age...
Ever since he made his video disparaging black people, I have no respect for him at all. At all. At all.
If you're arguing self-defense, people want to hear, well, what made you so scared that you felt the need to use a knife in a fist fight? Which it wasn't even really a fist fight according to the testimony we heard. So I think it's that judgment call is something the general public may never have the true insight on, because we weren't with the defense team. You've got to assume that they were preparing Mr. Anthony to testify for trial. And if they didn't feel like he would be a good witness, or they felt that he would do himself more harm than he would benefit, then you've got to make a judgment call as a defense attorney. And in certain instances, defendants just don't want to testify. So there's a lot that goes into that decision. But again, I agree with you. I think in this kind of case where the facts aren't necessarily on your side, you have prosecution witnesses talking about provocation, you as the defendant really need to get up on the stand and tell your side of the story.
And I don't know if this is what happened. I don't know if when they went into a back room and they're deciding it, maybe it was Karmelo Anthony who said,
Yep.
I just don't want to do this. I don't think I need to. We're unclear. But when it comes to the appeals process, if the defense team looked at Karmelo and said, you should not testify in your own defense, and maybe that was the wrong decision, like, is that something that could be made into the appeals process, that he just got bad advice in that situation? It was a bad strategic decision and things could have been a lot different had he taken the stand.
So no, Chris, it wouldn't. That would be an ineffective assistance of counsel claim that would likely be brought up during the habeas corpus part of an appeal. But assuming that we were there, that's probably not going to be a winner argument, because the attorney's going to provide an affidavit and state that here was our strategy based on the evidence that we had, the evidence that was in at trial, and our woodshedding in preparation of the defendant. We did not feel that it was the best strategic decision for him to testify. That's different than if the defendant wanted to and over his
And they denied
and
him.
they forced him not to, right? Because in the end of the day, the defendant has the absolute right to go to trial. They've got the absolute right to testify in their defense. And so if they didn't provide him that opportunity, then that would be a cognizable claim for an ineffective assistance of counsel argument.
Because I'm sure you go into a prison and you talk to people about how their trials went. A lot of people probably weren't thrilled with their defense with just the outcome of how it went. Like, what is the bar when it comes to ineffective assistance of counsel? Like, what does that actually look like in effective appeals claims?
It's an unfortunately really low bar. I think that there's a case where a defense attorney was asleep during trial and was not found to be ineffective. Not found to have provided ineffective assistance of counsel. So, but on the less extreme side of things, as a defense attorney, you've got to make judgment calls based on your experience and based on what's been put into evidence before a jury. And so the courts really do provide a lot of deference to the decisions made by the lawyers. And so it's a really high bar. It's hard to overcome that, which is why it's really important for any appellate lawyer to make sure that there's a distinction in their argument of was he advised not to testify and chose not to, or was he truly not provided the opportunity to testify? And I don't think we have the latter in this instance. I'm pretty sure probably that he was advised not to testify by his lawyers and took their advice.
Okay, but I'm
when
like
it comes
wondering,
to 35.
if he was advised by his lawyer not to testify, why did his lawyer give him that type of advice? That's what I'm interested. I want to know the reasoning behind that.
5 years in prison is the full sentence. He'll have to serve like 17 and a half.
Yes.
How long does the appeals process, like for this case, like how long are we looking until you kind of see the arguments made and whether there could be a decision on whether or not maybe they find something we don't know, but I guess how long does this appeals process typically take?
The appeals process on a 35-year sentence can take a really long time. Now,
You know, one thing that I did notice is that they're showing a lot of that other person's family and I guess their togetherness and all this, but they're not showing anybody on Karmelo Anthony's side. They trying to humanize and trying to get some emotional response, I guess, by showing the Metcalf family. And I really, I don't even know why I picked this video. They seem kind of dry, with this news. This is like some breaking news, and the vibes I'm getting from these two guys right here, it's not. I'm not really feeling it. So, but anyway, shout out to Law and Crime Network, but I'm going to move over and find a more video where we can like get some kind of bona fide reactions or something. They're like dry, and I don't know what this dude right here. What's all this on his back wall? What story is he trying to tell with that person looking like he got a mug shot behind him. I don't get it and I don't like it. So I am going to try to find another video that has more emotions in it or something. That's the right. And then they showing the other family like, come on now, whose side you on? And that's not neutral. I mean, look at the optics that they trying to portray. That's crazy.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Avengers has assembled. Or in basketball terms, the Dream Team.
Hold on. Shout out to Trent. Who is this? Trent Out Loud. So, shout out to him for this video. Maybe we can get some kind of like bona fide emotions that our dry cracker stuff that was on the other.
Has come together. And you know I ran first to look if there was a woman on the team. And not only is there a woman, but a black woman. And if black women could put Joe Biden in the White House, a black woman could get Karmelo Anthony out of jail. I am going to give you the details of this assembled dream team. I'm also going to go over what they can appeal on, and then I'll explain to you why I think Karmelo Anthony will be walking out of jail a free man. Oh, and we also have an update on Jeff Metcalf, Austin Metcalf's racist daddy, and I've already proved to y'all that he's racist. He is now talking on Fox News
finally we got
yet again.
With life
Sit back, relax. I got a
put this on pause. That's why I said I didn't have no respect for that Metcalf dad, because his racist rant that he went on, and I heard it was like he went on for like 3 hours, and oh my God, 3 hours. Okay. All right, let's get into the video. All right, I'm excited now. We got some life over here.
Of things to tell you, and then I'll hand it off to y'all, the Out Louders, to let me know what you think in the comment section below. A team of leading appellate, civil rights, and criminal defense attorneys announced today that it has taken on the case of Karmelo Anthony, who was recently sentenced to 35 years following his unaliving conviction in the passing of Austin Metcalf. The team, serving pro bono, absolutely 100% free, will review the trial records and pursue all available avenues of appeal. I'm going to break that down for you guys in a second. Leading the efforts are Russell Wilson. Here he is right beside me. Shout out to Russell. Gary Bledsoe. Michael Ware, who is super key. I'm going to tell you about him in a sec. The superstar of the team, Brooke Cluse from Benjamin Crump's law office. Sean and Justin. Our appellate team has been retained following the conviction to conduct a fresh...
And then note, I believe they're all from Texas, too. I saw Texas after a lot of their names.
Independent review of the trial records. We recognize the profound loss suffered by one man's family and the uncertainty facing another. And we extend our respect to everyone whose lives have been forever changed by these events. Our responsibility is to determine whether a legal error occurred and to ensure that every issue supported by the record is fully and vigorously represented on appeal. The appellate process exists for precisely these purposes.
Talk about Karmelo Anthony's legal team, the team that was put together to handle his appeal. Let's start with the lead counsel, Russell Wilson. When he worked at the DA's office, which was under Craig Watkins' administration, Craig Watkins was the first black district attorney in Dallas County, breaking every kind of barrier. And the one barrier that was really prominent in his administration was the Conviction Integrity Unit. Dallas County became known nationally for their Conviction Integrity Unit because they were leading in the country for overturning wrongful convictions and exonerating innocent incarcerated individuals. Russell Wilson became the head of that division in 2011. Now let's talk about Mike Ware, because Mike Ware, when he was a prosecutor at the Dallas County District Attorney's Office in 2007, they founded the Conviction Integrity Unit that spearheaded Dallas County DA's office to lead the nation in overturning wrongful convictions or exonerations of innocent incarcerated individuals.
And now let me give you some background on Brooke, and you'll know why I'm so excited about her. Brooke serves as a litigation attorney and the chief of staff for Benjamin Crump. Those of you who've been following me for years, you know that Benjamin Crump helped me a little bit with me and my Nike battle. Benjamin Crump. Yo, they don't play. Let me just try to tell you, like, yo, they do not play. A skilled civil rights attorney and former public defender in Houston, Texas, she advocates for the disenfranchised and fights to safeguard her clients' equal protection under the law. Ms. Claus also provides legal commentary on employment discrimination and workplace equity and has won several verdicts on several high-profile civil rights cases. Trust me, Brooke is a beast. Now let's go over this appellate process. For those of you who've been following this channel daily, you know that we've been covering the details of this case, so please feel free to go on the page. I'm not going to, for my daily listeners, I'm not going to reiterate everything, okay? We do know one of the biggest grounds for appeal is the jury selection. Do know that there was 3 Black women educators that were dismissed by the prosecution. That alone right there is grounds for appeal. Well, I'm also going to cover a few other things, but I forgot to say one thing. For those of you who are on the side of Karmelo Anthony and think that he should be freed, I just want to be very clear. This does not mean a new trial. The appellate process, the appeal process is there to go through the entire procedures to make sure that there is no errors.
Right.
So first, this dream team, the Avenger team that I'm calling them, they're going to go through all trial records and to see if there's any error. If there was an error made through any process, whether it be the jury, an objection, just any sort of thing, any sort of technical issue, that could be grounds for them to win the appeal. Depending on what the error is that they found, it could be error in sentencing, it could be error in jury, it could be error in evidence, it could be error in cross-examination, it could be various amounts of errors. Depending on the error, they could overturn the sentencing, they could overturn the conviction, they could bring down the conviction from unaliving 1 to manslaughter to an even lesser charge. It could be brought down to a small charge that
And they're gonna turn everything over with a fine-tooth comb. I just know they're gonna go through every single thing, and I'll pray that they find something.
Probation or a fine. There's so much things that could happen during the appeal process. What I think will probably happen is we'll get a new trial. That is what I think. It would be great if they could just have him completely exonerated because again, for the people who've been following me, you know that I feel like there's a lot of grounds for self-defense. I'm not going to get into it now. But I have also made videos where I feel like there is some evidence that points to manslaughter, which is still, I feel, brings some comfort to the family and to the people who are on the Austin Metcalf side. And manslaughter is still admitting the fact that, yes, he unalived somebody and negating the self-defense claim. So whether it's self-defense or whether it's manslaughter or anything less, most of the times it will be a new trial or it could just be brought down. So I hope that doesn't confuse you guys even more. I just want to let you know that there's no one direct line in appeal. A bunch of things could happen. I believe that he has a chance to walk a free man based on the fact that if they reduce the sentence, it will be time served because he's in there now. So his time will be served. And this appeal process is going to take at least a year. Even if they get it speedy, it'll be 6 months, 7 months. If he gets a lesser charge, he could just walk a free man if they bring down the charge. They get a new trial, that will even take even longer. So that's how the appeal process works. I just want to make that clear. Now let's go back to some facts and some speculation that I feel could change the outcome of the trial or bringing down the charges. We already talked about the jury. Let's talk about one thing that's a fact that nobody can dispute. In the testimony on prosecution and defense, nobody was able to specify exactly who was who in the video. It is so grainy. It is so far away. You cannot see in that video exactly who was who. Yes, there was video experts that were like, you could see Austin coming in here. Yes, that is actually Karmelo walking in here, running down the bleachers. But the exact interaction when the incident happened, nobody can determine who is who.
Right. That's what I'm wondering. Like, do they have any cell phone video? And no cell phone video have been presented as of yet. And I'm just shocked and stunned that no one have this on record. You know how much we love to just whip out our phones and record. We record at a drop of a dime. And you mean to tell me there's absolutely not one cell phone video out there anywhere?
Who is who in that picture? Testimony, yes, for the people underneath the tent can say, oh, Austin was there and this person was there, but we cannot see that in the video. But we can all agree with that, okay? Here is what is and by the way, that part of that video can be brought back up in the appeal process. Now, here is a lot of speculation that I feel could also be brought up during appeal. Austin, there has been some, I think 2 people that have said that Austin Metcalf fell onto Karmelo, and when Karmelo had the knife in his hand and he fell onto him. The knife is 3.5 inches long. The wound inside Austin's chest was 2 inches. If you're plummeting into somebody like that, why wouldn't the whole 3.5 go? If somebody pushes or if he trips or there's
then if I remember, the angle was kind of going off to the side. Hold on. It was going. Hold on. Let me go over here so y'all can see me. And the angle looked like it was going like off to the side instead of like, if it was like a straight in, it didn't look like, look like that to me. So, okay, all right.
A fight or pushing and shoving and he falls onto it and it's not so much that he pushed it into him, that would explain the 2-inch wound and it not being a 3.5. That's something that could be explored. There's also, did Austin give him a light push? Was it an aggressive push? Was it a punch? That's to be determined. Was Karmelo approached, attacked, agitated, aggressed by 4 boys? We know with the video, there were 6 that came into the track meet, 2 went off, and there was 4. Through testimony underneath the tent, whose testimony from all of Austin Metcalf's friends and people from his school, which is obviously going to say everything in Austin's favor. Even Eddie, who is Karmelo's friend, doesn't want to say the truth because Eddie was like, I don't even know him. I don't even know who Karmelo is.
What?
Come to find out that, yes, there's pictures and you guys were hanging out. Again, sorry if you guys don't know the details, but I'm sure most of you know by now. So the testimony from the prosecution is one thing, but those are all testimony from Austin.
He probably said that because of peer pressure.
Metcalf's friends and the kids in his school. And those kids, even if they don't like Austin, they don't want to go back to school and be ostracized. So they're all going to come together and tell the story. And this is the whole point of the appeal, and the whole point of why some people are so upset is the people who witnessed it are all Austin's schoolmates and all Austin's friends. Mm-hmm. We have a grainy video. You can't tell who is who. Mm-hmm. So how do we know? How is a jury able to determine unaliving one with that kind of information?
Now I kind of see why no video has been presented, because they said they're all Austin's friends. And so I'm assuming they know the family personally. And the video, that if there is a video out there, cell phone video, it probably have some pretty damning evidence in it about what really actually happened close up. Because rest for sure, if Austin has, if he got the upper hand on Karmelo, rest assured, I believe those videos would have been all plastered all over the internet, and especially in making a whole bunch of racist comments below it. So I believe perhaps there is some video out there, but it is hidden, because I just don't believe that those videos doesn't exist. If Austin, like I said, if he did have gain the upper hand and there wasn't no unaliving and no weapon involved or nothing, that video would have been it would have been a whole bunch of videos out there. I can't believe those kids just didn't take a video at all. I don't believe that. But that's just my personal opinion. There has not been no disclaimer. There has not been any videos released that we know of or that we are aware of. This is just my personal opinion.
And that kind of grainy video. Here's another thing. All of those teenagers that are around that have cell phones, at the minute there's somebody that raises their voice, kids these days bring out their phone and start recording. You're telling me that there was no kid under there that took out their phone and recorded this incident? And we do know.
All right, I'm going to subscribe to him because he's the only one that brought that up. I was like, wait a minute, I know I'm not the only one that feels that way. Okay, you got a new subscriber, Trent Out Loud.
Know that this incident didn't happen in a split second. There was arguing back and forth. They were yelling, what are you doing under here? Get from under here. There's reports that Karmelo was like, yo, touch me and find out. Yo, you can take out your phone, you access your camera, boom, I'm here, I'm recording right now. Mm-hmm. It just took me 2 seconds. So you're telling me a bunch of teenagers are around and two boys are yelling at each other and nobody brings out their phone to record it? There has been conversation of one boy, I'm not mistaken if this was in testimony, but we do know that there's some sort of fact, if I'm not mistaken, that one boy said, yo, I had my phone out and but I wasn't recording. I was only pretending to record.
Oh, come on now.
Who takes out their phone and pretends to record?
The goof.
So there is the speculation that
a goof wouldn't even do that. A goof, no. Hit the record button.
There is some video evidence out there from cell phone from Austin Metcalf's friends that they erased. This is basically what I'm alluding to. There's conversation that there is cell phone footage a lot closer to the incident. And that's why some people are saying, oh, he fell onto the knife, but we don't have that. Why? Because they know to delete that because they don't want that evidence to be played in court. They just want that grainy video. These are all the things that are going to be looked into. These 21 or 22 people who...
Finally, we got someone who finally voiced what I have been saying in so many of my videos. Kudos.
Who testified, yo, we want to see your cell phone. We want to have access to your data. We want to have access to your iCloud. Y'all know nothing really gets deleted these days, even when you do delete it. There's these forensic people up top in a case like this. They could get to your stuff. So those are just a few things. I mean, I could go on and on, but those are a few things. If you ask me, the jury is the easiest one. Why were 3 black women who are educators, who not better than educators, to be on a jury? You want to take off 2 of them? Okay, why?
Now, he said 3 black women. You mean to tell me no black men was tried out or called to the jury selection? It was 3 black women, 3 black educators, no black men. Wonder why.
Why not even leave 1? What are the grounds for that, sir? We will get to that. Okay, that is the appeal. I want to now play a video of Austin Metcalf's father, Jeff Metcalf. He is going on Fox News, and he's talking about Karmelo. He's talking about Karmelo's parents. And I want you guys to notice something. He is now trying to make Karmelo's parents look horrible, try to look like they were the ones that brought race into this and publicized this. But why I want to play this for you is that you can see the snake that he was from the beginning, because he is trying to say, before the trial even started, he wanted to pray with Karmelo's parents. He wanted to come together and, you know, have a kumbaya moment.
Now, if y'all go back and watch that little video rant that he did for like 3 hours, I heard. I'm not going to go watch it, nor am I going to go look for it. But you can hear all the races. He said some pretty horrible things. As a matter of fact, he's the one who came up with that term, watermelon felon. Because he said something about going viral with it. And then you got that goofball Charleston White actually put that on a T-shirt with Karmelo Anthony's face with stripes, with color, looking like a watermelon, and Charleston White. So that's it. I have no respect for Charleston White anymore, nor do I have any respect for this Metcalf guy or Clab, whatever his name is. I have absolutely none, because he said some pretty horrible, racist things. I mean, it just all came gushing out. Like he couldn't just wait to bring everything out. And that watermelon felon, he didn't just make that up. He probably was going around in his household saying that and couldn't just wait to voice it out the way that he did. So I have no respect for him whatsoever. I mean, I feel for him. He lost his son and everything. But come on, that doesn't give you the right to come out and be all racist about it. You know what I'm saying? Then put no. No. And then he also talked about Karmelo Anthony serving time in jail and all this stuff. And, oh, man, it was just a mess.
And it was in a press conference where somebody was like, yo, we should kick him out. And he's like, oh, they kicked me out when I was trying to be a nice person. And at that time, we don't know why he got kicked out. We don't know why Karmelo's parents decided to not have that kind of relation. But now we know, because I played for you guys last week where Jeff Metcalf is calling Karmelo watermelon felon and talking about 400 years ago and about black people and how he came to this country and being sold and this, and the evidence of him being a full-blown racist. Okay.
Man, he let it all hang out. He true colors came out. Oh my God.
We also know that Jeff Metcalf also has a criminal past. He has an SA charge. Listen to him now trying to get in the media and tear down Karmelo Anthony's parents. Remember the video I played for you, his racist rant. Look at it compared to this.
I was hoping we could show the world this wasn't a racial divide thing, that we could kind of close the gap instead of widening it. But at that point, they'd obviously retained the services of Dominic Alexander, who decided to throw me out of the press conference, had me removed by police, and then proceeded to gaslight me and tell me that I shouldn't have been there and it was not dignified. That's when they took it from any type of remorse, which they did not show, to the fact of now we're going to play the race card.
And your goal that day was to simply get together and pray?
Yeah, I was actually hoping to show them, hey, look, man, I know what happened was terrible and your son made a horrible mistake. I was hoping for...
He's so full of it.
some accountability maybe and some remorse. Neither one was shown.
Have you ever spoken to the Anthonys?
No.
Y'all sound off below. I just gave you a ton of information.
And don't forget, he gave this interview on Fox News. Now we know what Fox News is all about.
Let me know what you think about the Dream Team, the Avengers that have assembled. Let me know what you think of the appeal process. Let me know if you think he stands a chance. Again, for those who've been following this channel, there's arguments for manslaughter. There's arguments for self-defense. I feel like the self-defense claim is the one that is a longer shot. Although I do feel that there's some evidence that point there. I feel at maximum it should be manslaughter. Okay. I'll pin my latest video to explain that to you guys about manslaughter. So let me know what you think about the appeal process. Let me know if you think I'm wrong. You feel like this is just going to be a waste of time and he's going to have to serve out his 35 years or half of his 35 years. Sound off below. Let me know what you think about Jeff Metcalf now playing this angelic role. Like, oh, I just want it to be so sweet. Shout out to his parents, by the way. Shout out to the Karmelo Anthony's parents for, you know, switching gears and being like, oh, we thought we could have you in a personal. We thought you could be cool. Somebody found out some way. Nah, this guy's a snake in the grass, man. You got to cut that grass low to see where the snakes are at. And also, just in closing, you know that Karmelo Anthony's parents came out, I think it was around 2 weeks ago, where they say that they made a mistake trusting people, not making this about race, not making a big deal about the jury, not making this, and even the defense who they picked. They're like, wow, we regret being so quiet. We should have made noise earlier. And now you see that everyone's making noise. It's an international story. You see the Dream Team that's coming out. So
too trusting. Can you imagine the emotional strain and stress they was under? They probably was desperate, didn't know what to do. They never faced anything like this in their life. And so I guess people was definitely coming out the woodwork. So, wow. Let me see. Is he done?
I feel like Jeff Metcalf and his team orchestrated all of this to make their parents stay quiet, be docile and whatever. And then now the truth comes out. So let me know what you think about Jeff Metcalf and everything that is happening. All right. When you are commenting below, please do not forget to like and subscribe.
All right, y'all. So go over there and subscribe to his channel. That's Trent Out Loud. And I definitely subscribe because he's the only one that I came across so far. Besides Willie D. Oh my God, I like Willie D. He's wow. Okay, so him and Willie D, go check out their channel and subscribe to their channel, and also subscribe to my channel. I really would love for you to subscribe to me as well. So there's nothing really more for me to add, but I will say that this is like it brings breathing a new life into a horrible situation, and I do pray that they turn over every stone, and if anyone that did anything foul, I pray that it is brought to light and that they are held accountable. And I just pray nothing but the best for Karmelo Anthony as well as his family. And I also pray for the Metcalf family because they did lose a son. But also on the other token, I really don't care for what the father came out and said, because he's straight up racist. Now he want to play that little all-American goofball game that they play when they want to go off victim on you and try to garner some sympathy from people. So, hey, whatever he got coming to him, he deserves every little single thing. And I'm just going to leave it at that. All right, so, that is, I'm done right now. And I will see you in my next video. Y'all be blessed.